right, everyone, we are now joined by the pole winner for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race, Kyle Larson, driver of the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports. We'll go ahead and open it up to questions right away, so if anyone has a question, please raise your hand. Can someone run mics? We'll come up front first. We have Zach and Holly. I don't think it's on.
To get the poll here, you've been fast in both series so far today. Does it feel like you're in as good of a rhythm as it looks like you are?
I feel more in a rhythm in the Cup car, for sure. I think it's just got a more equal balance, I think, throughout most of the corners. The Xfinity car is just, smaller tires and stuff. It's just less grip. So a little more on edge in that. But yeah, two good race cars so far. So hopefully we'll have a good race this afternoon. And obviously the main objective is just to learn more about the track, more about where you can pass, making moves that maybe I wasn't able to make last year. So yeah, so far so good. Just still a lot left to do.
Any other questions? We have one in the back there. Oh, first we'll come up front to Kelly and then Cole.
Kelly CrandallRacer.com. Kyle, a lot has been made on the broadcast today in practice and qualifying about the bumps. Is it bumpier than last year, or is it just standing out more for some reason?
No, it's it doesn't feel any different to me than last year. It's really rough. As you come around 3 and then break into 4 and kind of like through between 4 and 5 and exiting 5. Nowhere else really is that crazy bumpy. A little bit into 11, but my car seems to handle the bumps a little bit better this year than it did last year. Last year I remember just being kind of like really, really bouncy. But this year, yeah, we seem to handle that all a little bit better, which gives you some confidence to attack those areas. So yeah, it's I still feel like, and I'm sure majority of us, maybe not SVG, but I feel like the majority of us have not quite found the max through 4 and 5 because it's so bumpy and you feel like you're hauling ass through there. And then by the time you get to the corner, you're like, oh, I'm going too slow. So it's just a tough section.
We'll go to Cole and then over in the back.
Cole Cusimano, Arizona Republic. Kyle, you mentioned there finding the max, finding the different lines to run, braking zones. Did you try to learn from anybody on track, whether it be like SVG, Ms. Dow? No.
Not today, but I mean, obviously, I think we've all studied some SMT, of SVG, but I didn't spend like hours. I just no different really than normal. I just kind of briefly look at SMT, compare myself, and usually it's just whatever the team clips for me. So yeah, I just kind of looked at a little bit of that. It was really hard to study last year's stuff because the track wasn't like this. As far as there were still damp spots and things like that last year in the race. So hard to fully study, but there is definitely some things worth looking at. And then obviously today, being in Group A, I had time to kind of look at SMT after my runs and stuff, and it helps running Xfinity as well because I get more time to compare lines and stuff to him.
Well, Samuel Stubbs, yardbarker.com, back here. This is your 5th pole now of the Cup Series season this year. You're always fast in the race, it seems, but is there something that you and Cliff do when you set up a car in qualifying trim that just makes you good week in and week out when you have to go out and just lay down a fast lap?
I don't know. I think just probably the notebook. I think of, now we're 3 years into this next-gen car, so you hope to get better every time and, getting, I'm sure, every little detail more fine-tuned. So, yeah, this year qualifying, really racing, too, has been a strong suit, but qualifying we've been able to execute and get 5 poles at this point. So that's special. So, yeah, hopefully we can keep that up and keep our speed up in the races as well.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Given that, it's such tight quarters and you're on edge, is there an extra pride as a driver to perform well at a track like this as compared to just the standard oval?
Any road course, I feel like I think you feel like a driver means a little bit more, but I don't feel like I'm any better of a road racer 1 year later. I think my team is just like I just mentioned. This is our second year here. They studied their notes from last year and made our car a lot better in the areas where I needed help. So I think that's what makes me really proud too, is that we have a team that's capable of doing that. I felt like last year in qualifying especially, like the Gibbs cars were, I was like a second off the pace. I mean, still made the final round, but I was like close to a second off the pace. And this year, I know we barely beat Ty, but I feel like compared to Martin or Denny or Reddick, guys like that, like I feel like we're now not quite a bit better, but quite a bit better than we were last year. So I think I'm mostly for this week. I'm proud of that and our team.
With Holly.
Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. Kyle, some polls you might say are more important than others, but on a street race, how big is that? And also the fact you're going to be starting 2 rows ahead of SVG.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that helps, but he'll probably be up there right away. So, but there's also, I mean, we keep talking about him a lot, but there's I mean, everybody in the Cup Series is really good, so you can't focus too much on him. But yeah, I mean, track position is very important, no doubt. I mean, it is as well an oval, that you run 30-second lap times on. So, here I think it's important, but I think with stages and stuff like that, it honestly can mean a little bit less, just because you're always going to find yourself in traffic at some point. I feel like with road course racing and stages, because people flip the stages or whatever, like Sonoma, for instance, like we had to restart towards the back, and we just had a really good car and was able to drive to the front. So, and we qualified good there as well. So, I mean, yes, it helps, but you also have to have a good race car and execute good restarts to pick off spots quickly.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
And good luck tomorrow.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.